Okay, so let's turn on the simulator. So I found a simulator that we can work with in the work from home system. Okay. It's actually called Yaskawa J1000, and there's also a version V1000, but I guess I prefer the J1000 since it has lesser number of terminals and it's just enough to do the required work for our purposes of learning how to operate a VFD and learning how to interface a VFD to a PLC. Okay. So again, I'll do the screen share now. I turned it on already. Okay. So this is the Yaskawa simulator for J1000 VFD. Okay. So it has the main power switch, a selector for inputs, whether the inputs are going to be uh, voltage based or current based. Okay. The source and sink here is actually, they say that it's for the interface. So meaning to say ito siya. Okay. On the sink or source part. So pagka kinilik natin to, this contact point should go to the other side. Pupunta siya sa normally open. And the driver mechanisms here, basically yung ating LEDs, okay, yung nagtatransmit, is actually going to be connected towards the ground. So yung kabilang side yung tatakbo. Hindi itong isang set, which is sync, yung nasa baba. Pag kinilik mo to dito, yung kabila yung magfa-function, which is the top one. Okay. So a small discussion of the other items that we have. Yung analog input natin is just this one. Basically, it's just a potentiometer that you turn or a variable resistor that you change the value of. Okay. So the inputs are categorized from 0 to 10. Yun lang yung numbering na ginamit nila. But I think that it could be a value between 0 to 24 since ang common supply of these things are actually 24 volts. Okay. For the motor load, okay, yung motor load na section natin, we have the current, motor current at saka motor torque output. Okay. So we also have the yung nasa harapan na terminal blocks or the interface terminal blocks. Okay. S1 up to 5 is actually what we typically call as the interface control lines. So in comparison to something like a stepper motor driver, ito yung enable direction siya pulse na sinasabi natin. Now, we also have this thing, yung nandito. Yung A1 is this analog input. Doon siya kinakabit. Okay. V plus, I think, is the positive rail 24 na ginagamit. And then the analog monitor, output voltage meter, dito tayo nakakabit ng voltmeter natin para lang to have an evaluation of the output voltage applied to the motor natin. The motor itself, a three-phase or single-phase motor will be connected to MA, B, and C. In the German type or German origin or German utilization machines na VFD, we can actually see na hindi siya MA, MB, MC. It's actually U, V, W. Okay. So kung Kung yun yung comparison point natin. Now, if a single phase yung gagamitin nyo, you just interface line 1 to MA and line 2 to MB. Ganun lang kasimple yung gagawin nyo. Okay. So, let's turn on the simulator. Okay. Sorry. Seem to have run into something dito sa ano. I'm getting a different ano. So, I'll stop the share. I'll go to a screen share. Okay. Ayun. Kalimutan kong patayin yung isa. So, let's proceed to main power. Okay. So, yan. Naka-on na siya. Okay. So, when it's now turned on, okay, you can see F here is stated and there's a drive mechanism. Okay. Once you see the drive icon active, it means that is already in a system na naka-prime na to. You can already use the motor. Okay. But the frequency applied to it is now set at 0 hertz, which is hindi mo siya magagamit kung ganyan yung value. Okay. Also, meron tayong tinatawag natin na local at saka yung external externally controlled. So pag pinindot ko tong button na to at umilaw siya, okay, that implies that it is in a local control or the control is here in the panel natin. Okay? So, next. Press ko yung enter. I can now change the frequency. So, kung lagay ako ng 1, i-enter ko ulit, mag-e-end siya, it will record that value into memory, and I can run the motor now. So, the motor can run at 300 RPM. Okay? So, kung gusto ko siyang i-increase, well, forward yan. Okay? F out is 10. Okay? Ito yung consumption niya. Okay? Ito yung 38.3. Ano ba yung U? Para maalala doon sa manual. Okay. So, balik tayo doon sa frequency. So, yun lang yung pwedeng makita doon sa ano while it's running. We have to stop it para mag-ano siya. And then we have to press enter again and change the frequency value. Enter and tapos run. Okay. So, itry natin kung pwede. Ayan, tingnan nyo. 600 na siya. Okay, this is at 20 Hertz. Kung try natin i-enter siya, okay, enter. Nakita niya nag-increase na naman. Okay. So, enter, we can change the frequency 40 and 1,200. Okay. So, enter. Okay. Enter. Okay. 1,500. And at 60 Hertz, okay. Yan. So, 1,800 RPM na yung spin niya. Okay. Dito naman sa isa, forward, i-enter natin. Plus natin to. Yan. So, ito is actually reverse. Pag in-enter natin siya, kita niyang decelerate yung motor and nagpupunta siya in the reverse direction. So, yun yung reverse niya. Ryu. Actually, V siguro yun. Pero, they did not use the 8 by 10. Sorry, the 10 segment na display, yung merong X dun sa loob. Or sorry, 12 segment display or 11 segment display. So, wala silang V na ma-render dito. Okay. So, these are all, again, items that you can do if you have the simulator set to a local function. So, stop natin siya. You'll see the motor is actually decelerating kasi nawalan siya ng power. Inertia is still carrying it over. Okay? Tapos meron kang analog output lang dun sa ano na you can see running. Okay. So, terminate natin ngayon yung local control. So in this case, I'm now looking at using the external relay or external input control. So, ito siya, yung S1, S2, S3, S4, S5 na pinag-uusapan natin. Okay. Example, if I want to run the system in a forward motion, pipindutin ko lang to. Okay. And, sorry, stop ko tong isa. Ano mali? Okay. Ang mali ay, hindi ko sinet yung A1. Kailangan iset ko yung spin rate niya bago ko siya i-set. Okay. So, kailangan nakaset tong ano natin, value. Okay. So, stop. Okay. So, it's 19.9. Pag tinaas ko, you can see the frequency changes depending on the analog voltage applied to the A1 value that we have. Okay. So, click ko to. You see it's going up. Okay. Okay. So, hindi kasi siya 60, hindi sakto. Kaya hindi 1.8. So, ang tendency dito, if you have sabihin natin, if you have an analog signal from PLC, yung analog out natin, connected to A1, you can actually change the frequency of your motor. Okay, pwede yung gawin. Tapos, once na i-set mo na doon sa desired frequency, you can manage the forward command by making sure that S1 is set to high. Okay. So, pag pinatay natin to, you see it again decelerating, namamatay siya, and it's going down to a value of 0 RPM. Pag pinindot ko tong isa, yung S2, this is the reverse command lang. Okay. So it just spins the motor in reverse, pero it still follows the set frequency na naka-state. Okay. Reverse lang yung motion niya. Okay. So itong ano na to, item na to, external fault um, mode yata to. Okay. So detection of external faults lang yung ginagawa niya. Ito pang reset lang from an external fault sensed by the system. Okay. Tapos yung S5 natin, okay. Okay, nakalagay dito multi-step reference 1. When the values of 3 to 5 is set to 0, this is okay. Combined with the master auxiliary speed switch. Ito siya. Okay. So in essence, ganito lang kadali maggamit ng VFD. The only things that you need to understand is the forward and the reverse action natin. Okay? Ayan. Forward ko siya. So it will continue to spin down. Tapos aakit yan. Napunta dun sa kabilang direksyon. Okay. Okay. May fault ba? I think nung nagpunta ka sa fault alarm, nag-stop yung simulator dito sa kabilang side. Okay. So, in essence, this is how you can use and utilize a simulate a VFD. Now, if we go to our PLC program, okay. So, I'll move my ugly mug again dito sa ilalim. Okay, para walang problem dun sa ano, sa interface kasi nandito sa kabilang side yung panel ng PLC natin if we're going to use PLC Line Simulator 2. Ladder Simulator 2. So what I'm about to do now is actually a an element na ikakabit natin dun sa VFD na yun. Maybe perhaps I should stop the recording muna dito para that's a different video.